I'm Adam Anschel for Pro Football Weekly with an analysis of round 4 of the NFL Draft. It's presented by Verizon Fios. I'm joined by senior editor Eric Edholm. And Eric, it seems like the 4th round is where teams start to take chances on players. They find maybe some steals later on. They did it again this year.
Yeah, you look at last year's draft as an example, and teams started going for some of those character risk guys like Mike Williams from the Buccaneers and Aaron Hernandez from the Patriots. Both guys ended up being inspired picks, really good players in year 1. And you saw similar types of picks this year with guys like Brandon Hogan right at the top of the round. You know, the Panthers took probably the biggest risk in terms of Cam Newton. They come back with Hogan, first-round talent. Can he get it figured out between the ears and get it figured out on the field? That's the big question. Another guy, Christian Ballard of the Vikings, you know, at times he flashed first-round ability. Hasn't played up to that, and he also tested positive for marijuana leading up to the draft. So, you know, similar to what they did with Everson Griffin last year, another 4th-round pick. So, rolling the dice on talent at this point now that you've solved some other positional needs.
It doesn't cost you as much financially. You figure as you get later on, you can maybe take a chance with those, and if you hit on it, it's a huge success. Now, it's not just character guys that maybe are risks at this point. Saw a couple of guys that went in the 4th round, positions that are kind of questionable.
Don't get me started on this. I can't stand kickers or fullbacks, part-time players. You know, I mean, why not draft a long snapper in round 4? It just seems like there's too much value out there in talent. This may not be the world's greatest draft this year, but there are still players that can be on the field, on special teams and offense or defense. So why take a guy who's probably only going to be a factor 15, 10, 20 plays a game? I just don't understand it, even if you want to be a running team like the Browns. I mean, look, the Eagles might get a good kicker out of this, but I think they can get him later.
Does this mean the end for David Akers in Philadelphia?
That's the question you have to ask. I mean, he missed 2 of the 3 field goal attempts in the playoff game. But, you know, he was going through some personal stuff. It was the illness of a close family member at the time, had a terrific season. The new kickoff rules you think would have favored him. So good little competition going on up in Lehigh this summer.
It's been a staple of the Philadelphia Eagles for years now, David Akers. Maybe this is the end. Figure a 4th-round pick on a kicker may spell doom for Akers. Now, there's also some running backs that went in this round. We know there wasn't a lot of top-heavy, running backs at the top of the draft, but still, as we now get into the 4th and 5th round, really value there.
Yeah, I think so. And talking to Nolan Araki, our draft expert, he seemed to think that the strength of this running back class seemed to be in rounds 2 through 4. That's kind of where you're going to get these guys. Kendall Hunter had an outstanding season at Oklahoma State. You know, I think the 49ers really got a great value here. Somebody who's going to be a part of that mix there with Frank Gore, injury-prone guy. DeLon Carter, you know him well as a Syracuse guy. I think he's going to be really good between the tackles and may fit that role that they don't really have with guys like Joseph Adai and Brown. So I'm not sure, but DeLon Carter might be in that mix sooner than later. And you got to look at Tywan Jones, the speed factor. We know the Raiders love those Blazers. He could be somebody who factors into their running game as well.
It certainly seems like a good fit for the Raiders. We've heard a lot about Jones leading up to the draft. Yeah. He just had his blazing speed at his pro day. Now, of course, Al Davis goes for speed. That is a look at the 4th round of the NFL Draft. For the best draft coverage and analysis, be sure to follow us on Twitter or go to ProFootballWeekly.com.